God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call.
Jennings,
Here.
Mallett,
Here.
Martini,
Here.
Jankowski.
Here.
Snyder.
Here. All right, agenda additions. So we do have at least one that we'll add to new business. So we were going to add under new business B,
Shrink wrap.
shrink wrap recycling. Wrap recycling. Okay. All right. Any other agenda additions?
No, I've got stuff that'll go when you
Okay.
come to me later.
Motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Okay, approval of the minutes.
I read them all. I don't see any problem, so I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So, call to the public.
No public.
No public. Close the call to the public. All right. So, new business. The first thing on the list here is fish stocking.
Yeah, I think that was Ed's.
It was Ed's ad,
Yeah.
and nobody knows what it is in Ed's
No,
ad.
and I neglected to myself to get in touch with the village office, because see, I have a sheet that gave us through 2020, you know, what we had put in
Yeah.
up to that point. And I wanted to get a new one, and I forgot to do it.
Yeah, but I'd
So-
imagine Ed would have had the recommendation of what we should do or
Right,
something that's not
right.
being covered.
Because he was getting at like a particular kind of fish, I assume.
Yeah, we usually, they have a pick list of what you can do, right?
Okay.
And then we've
Not
got a budget and we just basically
Not
spend
to
the
throw you a
budget.
curveball, do we need a motion to excuse the people that aren't here?
I suppose we could do that. I don't know if we need to, do we?
Well, I think by rights we should, so
Okay, so.
I'll make that
We'll go
motion.
motion to excuse Eric and Ed.
Ed and both Eds?
No, it's Eric.
Eric.
Grant and Ed.
Yeah, I make that motion.
All right, second that.
All in
All in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Thank you, I just want to make sure we're
Sure.
on board.
So, yeah, Ed's not here, and I think he added that agenda item. I wasn't sure if
Right.
anybody else knew the details there. Fish, usually, I don't have in here when we do fish stocking. Fish stocking decisions, a date. So I'm going to move on to the next topic because I don't think we have anything here for fish stocking. And we'll have to follow up with admin and Ed on what that was. All right, so take it away on shrink wrap recycling.
Right, so in the very recent issue of Lakefront, there was an article that talked about a number of programs to recycle the shrink wrap from boats. And the basic premise is to minimize the landfill, all that ending up in the landfill. So
Right.
there are a couple of organizations through the state of Michigan that are working on this. Two of them that are involved are the Bay Area Recycling Charities and another organization out of Manistee called Dr. Shrink. So both of these organizations are working together with the Michigan Recycling Coalition. So today I spoke with a representative from Dr. Shrink, and they are the ones that actually supply the bags that can be used to collect the shrink wrap for recycling. So they actually provide the bags. However, the organization that actually then uses for the logistics to get this and recycle this is the Michigan Recycling Coalition. I spoke with one of their persons today, Katie Fournier, and she's out of Lansing. And so the idea is that there are these bags that are somewhat industrial strength that individuals can take the shrink wrap from their boats when it's no longer needed in the spring. And as long as they can remove the straps, the zippers, and the vents, then this can be collected and put into these bags, and then it can be collected for disposal appropriately. I asked her how big are these bags and how many boats shrink wrap can you fit in there. She said they will hold up to shrink wrap for a 32-foot boat. In many circumstances, you can actually get 2 boats worth of shrink wrap into these bags. So currently, as it stands, there are certain centers where these things can be taken to. However, they're trying to make this a lot easier for individuals because their concept in the review was for marinas specifically, but I asked if this could be done on an individual basis for residential, and they are working on an option to allow these bags to be dropped off with Meyer. So they're working currently with Meyer to see if they will have an ability to do that. The other option would be for, to have these things collected here and then them do one collection in the spring, or maybe a couple collections during the spring. So the registration for this is in January and February, but or we can actually register soon, but she said to hold off until January or February so they can see what the deal might be with Meyer, if in fact they can establish that as an option.
So it doesn't cost anything, we just register. How do we let people know? Do they give us like flyers or something?
Well, they do have some information that we can share with them. The bags right now cost $7 per bag, and that's really just more for the paying for the transport of these things. However, she said that if they do get this deal with Meyer, then they will be free because it won't require the transportation that they would otherwise need. So I will be following up with them to see if there's any sort of marketing that we can provide to sort of educate the lake on this. Depending upon what the situation is, whether the bags will be free of charge or not, I might suggest, and I spoke with her, we could even pay for maybe a small number of bags, like let's say 25, just as a test to see a pilot, to see how many individuals would actually take us up and actually consider doing this. But before we make any motions to put aside some of our funds for that, she said to first wait to see if the deal with Meyer goes through, so that would obviate the need for the cost.
Do you have
of
any
the bag.
idea when the Meyer thing was?
Well, they're in discussions now, and while the registration for this can be anywhere from can actually happen online now, she just said just wait until we find out further about this deal with Meyer, and then either we do that, or I did discuss with her, as I mentioned, the possibility of collecting the bags here on site at the township for collection.
So when is the actual date we'd have to sign up for it?
Well, she told us
January.
to hold off until January or February, since they're still in those negotiations and logistics with Meyer.
And for us, we don't have to do anything other than sign up and then tell people, either give them a place here or go to Meyer.
Correct, that's right. And if for some reason the Meyer situation doesn't work out, then it would cost per bag $7. And my thought is that if that's the case, just so we can see if people are even interested in this, we could even purchase a small number of the bags just to say, first come, first serve, give this process a try.
Purchase 10 or something?
Or
20,
whatever, yeah. They're, like I said, they're only $7. So.
It might be wise to have the village post it.
Yeah, we
And then-
we probably could put it on the board, we could put it on the Facebook page, we could send out
Yeah,
an email, we could let
yeah.
people know. It's just,
And that way, people can feed back to the village and give us an idea of how many bags.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, as I stay in touch with her and we learn more
Right.
about, what the logistics will be on that end, we'll find out a little bit more about it and we can report back. But I think it's a good idea, and but as I mentioned, Ryan and I were talking before this, the challenge is to remove the zippers and the fence and all those
Right,
things.
right.
So, rather than rip the whole thing off and
Yeah,
then try to
remove
cut
zipper
those out,
straps,
it's
vents,
kind of
right.
just, it'll be difficult. So I think educating folks that cut that off before you tear the entire thing off and,
Yeah.
have a big bundle of mess to get that off of.
So who wants to own this? Do you want
I
to
do.
own it? You
Yeah.
want to own it? So this is going to be, I'm going to put it in here as reminder in December. We're going to say lake health, water quality, recycle, shrink wrap. And that's going to be it. Rob. Okay. Sign up on January.
and actually, if you need help with that, I'd be interested.
Sure, okay.
Helping with that too.
Yeah, we'll let you know, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask, I missed something that I wanted from your business. so.
Okay, so Rob and Kyle. Cool. So I think that'll be a good thing to have. We'll be able to promote it do something with it. Like I said, even dragging my cover off and putting it in the garbage, you gotta stuff it in like 3 garbage cans, it's a pain in the ass anyway, right? So if there's a way you can fold it up and bring it somewhere and it gets recycled, I'm all for it, so I'll be doing it. Those things are a pain to manage, so like I said, as long as we know in advance, it should be easy. Great, I think that'll be a great thing to add for the board, so. Okay, anything else there? I think we're good on that, right? All right, so administration report. All right, lake level. So we're going to talk 2 things here, right? Current lake level, it's been good all year. We've done a really good job. I'm going to get a report together on it like I did last year. So last year, when we installed we got a sensor out there that has the lake level and the temperature and everything.
The
Transponder.
transponder.
Yep. And I did a whole report on how many days it was above the limit, below the limit, how fast it drains when we open the gates, how long it takes for the pumps to fill the lake and all that stuff. So I'll redo that again this year, since I'm self-assigned to lake level stuff. One thing I want to do, last year when the boat launch was out, we delayed bringing the lake down until the end of October, and we got some good feedback on that. People enjoying the fact that the lake was up higher. We were still able to get the lake down. We try and get the lake down by December 1st, so we still had plenty of time to get the lake down. It was no problem whatsoever. So I'm going to make a motion that we again recommend starting to lower the lake on October 31st as opposed to the 15th to extend the season, and still target to get it down by December 1st.
Yeah, I second that.
All right, so motion by me, seconded by Rob. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. As far as the lake level as it is right now, let me see if I can get it real quick.
How much do you bring it down by December?
18 inches.
It typically takes about that amount of time to.
No, we could drain it super
Yeah,
fast.
see, it depends on how many boards they pull.
Yeah, so it's
At the spillway.
it's a series of gates that are down, right? And then you crack them an inch, or you could open them up. You could open them up 18 inches and have a ton of water pouring
We
out.
had a
But
flood.
I have a report that's tells you how many inches a day, and you could easily drop it more than an inch a day.
Oh,
No
okay.
We
problem.
try to accommodate
Oh, wow.
the people that have boats. So
Right.
once the water starts going out,
Right.
they still have time to get their boats to the proper area to remove them.
Right, right.
You don't want to drop them and have them sitting in front of their house in
Right,
mud.
right. And then do we typically post on the Facebook page and things like that we're lowering
Well,
the
the
lake?
village
Yeah.
does post it when
Okay.
they start, yeah.
Okay.
And I would think, and I don't know what the percentage is, but I would think it's in the high 90% as to the people that get notification from the village.
Yeah. Trying to get the lake level, so it's making me change the password. All right. So where is it now? So it's currently right on target, 0.073 feet. What is that? Basically zero.
What does that mean?
So we're less than an inch from our ideal spot. We've got a bandwidth, so it's sitting.
What's the
perfectly.
lake temperature?
70 degrees.
You're all set.
It's 70 degrees at 5 feet below. So we're all good. The lake level in general has been really good. I just got the days in which we ran the pumps. So I'll make sure I include that in a report. But I really want, probably by next month, I'm gonna send an email out. But I'd like to get a report of a couple of things. One being the lake level that I'll put together, and then Eric signed himself up to be the harvester dude, right? So I want to get a report for all the harvester stuff, how many hours it ran, how many days it was down, how many loads it took out, how many loads per run, how many days between it, and kind of prepare that. So at least
Where did you get that from?
I have it all accumulated in a spreadsheet from the reports from the harvester dude.
Yeah.
So I'm not filling it in anymore, but I'll show him how to do it, and then he can put that together. But I'm trying to think of, those are two things. That was probably the bird count, which we did. But I'd like to take the couple of things that we summarize and then bring it to the council at the end of the season, right? So
So speaking of bird count, I was out there this last week. It looks like they tripled.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because like traffic is less and there's feeling safe to come out, but I looked at it like, wow, this is a lot more than what we saw.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I think by either the October or the November council, probably maybe even the October council, I'd like to go and at least present the summary of where we've been. So I'll get something together for the lake level, I'll get something together for the harvester, and then we'll bring it in there. All right, no other questions on the lake level? All right, noteworthy complaints from the village. So, interestingly enough, one of the other things I wanted to do in the report was to try and get feedback from people on how they thought the lake conditions were this year. So I posted something literally just before we came here. So it wasn't up there very long, just about 2 hours. And overall, everything is super good. I think, like I said, if I summarize what we did, the types of things that I said is tried a new strategy in the canal, which I think was significantly improved. We had less complaints there. I drove through a lot. I think it was better. So whatever we did this year for the early treatment with those chemicals, want to do it again. We ran the harvester more than we had any other year. So right now, as of today, the harvester has run 144 hours. So 144 hours, actually, that's not even through today. That's like through August, the end of August, I think. Let me see.
Wow.
Unless I got that date wrong.
And on that post that you had, I read it, I think there was one person was talking about they had weeds heavy
Near
near
the
their
dock.
dock, and then someone else mentioned about the lily pads.
Yep.
But other than that, there was no
Yep.
real complaints of any kind.
So I'm tallying the hours, but the hours we have so far on the harvester, like, it's way more than years past, and we've gotten a lot less complaints on, the weeds it cut and doesn't pick up, so I think the harvester operator's doing a really good job. So I mentioned, that we had some days where we had real fast-growing algae that we treated quickly, and like I said, we did have some residents who had weeds close to their docks, which we already knew about, but I think it was improved. So the overall feedback was, we had a bunch of people talking about the delayed water pull down, that they were a fan of that, so we'll do that again this year. People saying we did an awesome job, things been better. One person complained about lily pads, and I explained to them that we don't harvest them, but we can if they're a nuisance, so I told them to get me the area. Lake conditions seem better this year, fewer algae blooms, saw the harvester a lot more, cutting closer to docks, which was great. I think the water board did a great job. It's been great to see the harvester out so much this summer, et cetera, et cetera.
So what do we do with lily pads? How are those?
We basically just reference it to Paul, and then he'll tell us what to do. If it's an area, use the harvester. If not, they can treat them.
Oh, they can't. Okay. Where did they say it was particularly?
I told them to give me a spot on the map. I linked them to the map and tell me, and they didn't reply yet.
The place where I've seen it the most is the lagoon under the bridge.
Yeah.
Over by Oak Island.
Yep, on the
Not
right.
lily pads.
On the right, yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy over there.
Yeah.
Anyway, and the one house right there was somebody who moved in, and the other house is currently being rented, so I think they probably don't even know that they could say that they can get them fixed, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. Anyway, I think overall, it was a pretty good year, and I can say, like, just from my own driving my boats around, like, I was not pulling weeds off my prop every time I got back to my dock, right? Like 2 years ago, every time I got back to my dock, I was pulling off chunks like bits, so. Anyway, so far the feedback's been good. I plan to accumulate some of that and also include it in some kind of report we could bring to the council, so. Okay, no other complaints. Like I said, the two main complaints that came through were weeds really close to people, between their shoreline and the end of their dock, right, which we can't really do with the harvester, but I tell them if they give us the area, we can treat them. And then the lily pad question, which is an exception to the rule.
I was going to ask about the no-wake buoy on the Benstein end of White. That just really seemed to go way back there after a while. Used to
Like
be,
it drifted?
I know, yeah. It used to be like when you get almost parallel with the cattails and stuff, the weeds there,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
swamp,
Yeah.
it was up there. And it made sense, because you don't want to go fast there, because that's what it was,
Yeah,
it was breaking
yeah.
shit. Now it's
Way in there?
dang near till Benstein. It's
It
like,
might have
wow.
drifted. It might have, did you?
Or it was lifted.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But
something.
you should, could email the chief, he could reset it if it looks like
Okay,
it's out of the
all
way.
right. I just thought I'd ask, I didn't know, maybe there was some action that I had missed. So,
Yeah, people could have moved it,
I
right?
was thinking somebody might have repositioned it, because it was,
So, I'll just, we could just email the chief right now,
okay,
we'll take care of it.
all right.
Minowick, Cooley, 5.
Kyle, looks like you got in.
Yeah. I was looking up those places you were talking about for recycling.
Yeah, that's it. So that was on today.
Yeah, and then the Michigan Recycling Coalition.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna have,
You figured it out.
yeah, it's not figuring out, it's
No, it's
my
a
computer.
Yeah.
It's, my IT is not gonna let me just throw my work computer stuff on random Wi-Fi screens.
Yeah. Well, the public school system isn't as worried, I guess.
Okay, so next thing, chairperson's report and general communications to the board. So, key dates that I have coming up, right? So Labor Day was the last day of treatment, so that's done. Last day of harvesting is generally mid-October, and then the drawdown will move to October 31st again, right? So
Yep.
that's the three things that are on the horizon, no action there. And then, like I said, by probably October 15th, I'd like to get a summary, I don't know if it's the 15th, but by the October council,
Hey, for
I'd like to
your-
get them a summary.
For your drawdown,
Mhm.
I believe you're gonna plan on sending a request to council?
We just did a
Because-
motion, yeah.
Because normally it's been set up to start earlier.
Right.
So we have, like we did last year, request a later date.
Yep, yep. Yeah, we just had the motion for
Right.
that, so it should be good.
Yeah, because if you don't get it through the system, it'll start early and kill everything we're thinking about.
Yep. So I don't have anything else on the dates. As far as chairperson, we did have a motion last week about that radar.
I've got all that, that's what I...
So you'll cover that?
I neglected to add that to new business, so get to me, I'll
Okay.
fill everybody in.
All right.
Okay, cool. All right. So, great, we're zipping along, which I love.
So just one thing, we had talked last year about maybe reducing the number of midwinter meetings. Is that still on the table or not?
We certainly can.
Remember we talked about, do we? need
We don't have to
meetings
have a
in
meeting
January,
every
February?
month,
Yeah.
right? So we could skip one or two if you want. I'm cool with that.
Because
I would
there's probably not a lot
suggest
going on.
At least December.
Okay, so we're third, let's look at the calendar. So it's third Wednesday.
We should definitely have until everything is done on the lakes.
Yeah.
Draw down.
Through the end of October, at least. So, so 1, 2, 3, so our October meeting would be the 19th of October, right? Then our November meeting, 1, 2, 3, would be November 16th. And then December meeting would be 1, 2, 3, the 21st, which we should boot that one for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then January would be 1, 2, 3, the 18th. So, we could get rid of one this year, one next year, we could get rid of two this year. We don't have to meet November, December, January, all three of those months, I don't think. October, we're gonna wanna meet.
Yeah, October definitely.
December, we should cancel, so
Yes.
we can cancel December and November, or December, January?
I would say December, January.
Yeah.
December, January?
Yeah.
So I don't know the rules for meeting schedule and how that pertains, like, we have to publish a meeting schedule that goes out like once a year or something like that. Do you know how that works?
I believe you publish it for the year.
Yeah.
Is it the calendar year or is it like the fiscal year or something?
Now, this, I believe, falls under the calendar year.
Yeah.
Calendar
And there
year.
must be some latitude, though, because they're always
Well, what we can
sending out-
do is just have a bunch of people say we can't make
I
it.
Yeah.
think if we post it
well-
like 2 weeks in advance, like you would for a meeting,
So,
you got a 2.
But I mean, on the planning commission, it's like, I'll get a.
You just don't
note-
show up.
No, I get a note saying, okay, there's no meeting this,
Right.
and it's based on whether we've got pending business or, that sort of thing.
okay, so I'm gonna see, cancel December and January, water mark. Okay,
Is February needed as well?
I think we could figure that out as we get closer.
Okay.
Well, let me just figure out what the process is for canceling
Right.
meetings.
Yeah, you can always add the February one.
Yeah.
'Cause I think
Bless you.
March will be looking at
Budget.
starting to pump
Yeah, yeah,
something.
And the budget and
March.
stuff.
Right,
We'll need
Yeah, I
to-
think we're gonna wanna meet February.
yeah, budget don't come in till,
May?
like May.
Speaking of budget, where are we?
We haven't spent anything. So our budget was,
10.
essentially, we had $7,500 for projects, which was $1,500 for an actual fish count, we said. The safety festival, we had $1,000, which we should be planning that in the
Yes.
winter.
Yes.
So, let's figure out, I still think canceling December, January is okay, but we gotta make sure that then November, we have some action items to get out of here, right?
Yeah.
For that safety thing, and then February, we hit the ground running, because we wanna get that thing enabled by the time spring comes around, so.
Well, in February is with this recycling thing too, that's
Yeah.
when we'll know if we can.
Yeah, so maybe keep the February. We had $3,000 still for the website, like I said, I called Julie, I haven't heard anything, we gotta get that thing moving this winter, but I
And
can
we
get
had
it
a
all.
couple of thousand or so for the signs that we had redone.
Did you see that one, the sign blew away?
Which one?
The new one.
The big
You're
one?
kidding?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we had some nasty winds a few times.
Anyway,
with
From
my
that
kayak
last one we
rack?
had, that last one where all those trees were knocked down over there and that?
yeah.
Jeez.
Of South Commerce when everything was leaning.
Yeah.
Do we have insurance?
No,
We got money in the budget, we're okay.
Self-insured.
Andy said he thinks it's salvageable, but he put the other sign back up for the time being while they try to figure out
Oh,
what
my
to do.
gosh. Well, the folks you had to do the
So-
sign, I'm sure still has the.
Yeah, we have $1,500 for conferences.
That's fun.
We've got $7,500 for board projects, and we've got $1,000 for printing and publications, right? So we've got stuff
We've got
there.
money to replace
We
the sign
did spend some money on the sign.
Yeah.
How much was the sign?
We got them both for like $800, $900 or something,
Yeah,
wasn't
it
it?
was-
I don't remember the total was a sign.
We had our people.
What is
put
that?
them up.
So it doesn't seem that bad.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't like an exorbitant, ridiculous price, no. But
Because the aluminum stock is probably
Yeah, it wasn't aluminum.
it's not aluminum, it's just
aluminum.
other.
plexiglass or something.
No, it's,
Kind of
it's,
coated.
it's some
Like
kind
a-
of signboard. It's
It's
super,
got like a
it's lightweight.
honeycomb thing, it's that very light, but.
Oh, okay.
But it was mounted to the original sign. It
No, it
wasn't,
You sure?
No, that was.
I guess it should have been.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so anyway, so I just emailed David about canceling,
December, January.
Or just board meetings in general.
the winter ones, it's like literally we just come here and talk to ourselves, so.
Yeah.
Because in the middle of the winter, you're just like, all right, so.
Unlike
Well-
the summer ones where we have a real crowd.
Yeah. No, I mean, basically the spring is busy because people might come in with complaints or whatever, and we're trying to get the strategy on what we're gonna do, and, you know, the winter, I mean, February and Lake is frozen, man.
Yeah.
That's not anything we're doing, we're talking about what we might do, and so, and we don't have to have a meeting every month. Like, you have to, I think we have to have 4 a year, technically.
Oh, really?
Something like,
Yeah.
like, but per the,
Oh, wow.
per the charter, right?
Oh, wow.
You don't have to do it every month. Okay, so, everything else there for key dates, I keep them all on the Excel spreadsheet that we keep. I just added the shrink wrap recycling program on the 15th, and bringing the summary to council next month, so.
Might add your note for like November, because the police put on a boater safety class. You know, I don't know if we would want to talk about it in March, you might want to address to Ellsworth if they're going to do one, prior to March, because I don't know if they hold it, April or May or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, I think that's something we could talk about when we're talking about the safety stuff and.
yeah, but again, my point being so we find out from the chief when they'll have it.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't end up like June or July.
Right.
Okay, we want to get a head start on it.
Oh, yeah.
That's my point.
Second so this year we had a boater safety class in May, and that was the
Yeah.
second one. So let me just see, what did we do, key dates? So May, boater safety class, and then let me see when the first one was.
I thought it was like late March or April, early April.
Yeah, I think so, April. Boater safety class, April 30th and May 21st are the
Oh,
two
okay.
dates. April 30th.
Yeah, because you gotta, if there's gonna be young people or anybody who wants to get in, they need some time to register.
So speaking of safety, do we want to consider putting out a PSA before the lake freezes this year? Just to remind folks that, I know the village does it, and no ice is safe, but
Right.
do something to remind them that.
I think we can do something. Education, boater safety, snowmobile safety, Watermatic, that was under Jennings.
Yep. So, do we do any kind of posting of like ice depth, or
No, so,
Is it different all over the lake?
it's kind of a weird situation where the village takes the stance of nothing's safe, right? And it's
Because
like
they
a
don't
cover
want
your ass type of
liability?
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though there's information out there that can have people more educated than no information, right? So we haven't really figured out how to manage it. There was some like talk of a snowmobile safety course and things like this, but open to suggestions, how you want to do it, or, have something, like we were talking about the signs, we were talking about like electronic signs that in the winter we can have like warnings down there at the boat launch instead of having them the standard boating sign. Who cares about the boating sign in the middle of winter?
Yeah.
We never did that, but I mean, it's something
But our electronic signs could post,
Could do something.
careful of the thin ice.
yeah, but people that are going on the ice aren't. It's not like they're going to the boat launch to drop their
Some snowmobiles going that way.
Oh,
Most
really?
of them come from right across right by the party store, though.
Right. Yeah.
Most of them enter from the woods to the party store, but quite a few drop in right by the.
Well, because I mean, the reason I'm interested, I'm actually looking at putting ice tires on my bike. So
Yeah.
A motorcycle?
it is a dirt bike. I mean, enduro.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like I said, we've got money for publications. If we want to send something out, we could throw something up on social media. You can put something on the website. We can put it on the board out there. We can have a class. There's any number of things we could do.
could we do something where, like on the Facebook group or something, where people that are going out there to fish that are already digging holes, like maybe some kind of thing where they're posting the lake levels or the ice is at 2.5 inches or something, where it's like not liable to us, but it's still getting the information out there. I know they, every year they post pictures of like, they have the different levels of ice, and then, so many inches, and then when it gets, like 6 feet deep, then they have like Gaiaca on there, Godzilla. But then, they have like, if it's at 2 or 3 inches, I forget what it is. and then-
Yeah, you walk. Yeah. And like, especially like in Canada, all their government sites have recommended ice thickness and
Right.
teach you how to actually use the pokers to do the ice depth. And
Right.
I mean, even if we go and we link to information from other areas, it's not a bad thing to do.
Right.
I think it's just probably a conversation that has to happen with the admin of the village and what information's good.
I remember when the incident happened, I remember Chief Ellsworth, when we were talking about what we could do, he said they were out there telling those people at that time, it's unsafe.
get off.
You shouldn't be doing this stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that the exposure for us issue is the difference between telling people, implying that these are safe conditions, telling them that this is how you can do it
Yeah.
safely, as opposed to this is what you do if you get into trouble.
Yep.
You know, we can post the, here's how you keep yourself from drowning if you go through the ice stuff all day, but not, gee, if it's 3 inches thick, then you're,
Yeah, we could do that type of stuff. We could do something, you know, even if we put stuff on the website and then link to it from the, you know, Facebook page,
Mhm.
we could put things on like how to measure ice thickness. We
Yep.
could do things on how to get out if you fell through the ice.
Yep.
And accumulate a good library of information
Mhm.
without any reference to what's safe and what's not.
right.
Right. So
Well,
maybe you want to,
everything gets
I
safe.
think if you posted something about how to safely get out of a situation, you'd have to get something from possibly a government perspective or some professional that, you know.
Yeah, there's sites
there's
out
a lot,
Right.
like I said, there's a lot of, like the Canadian government sites,
Right.
they've got tons of information that's like government recommended
Yeah.
ways. So I guess if you want to poke around, see if you could accumulate some information, we
Yeah.
can either put it on our website or we could put whatever we want on the village website,
Okay.
right? So we have access to put stuff there or
So how
get
would
it
I-
on Facebook Messenger.
How would I do that? Just forward it to you?
To
or-
get stuff on the website?
Yeah.
Paige in the office upstairs.
Okay. Yeah.
Get with her, I could send you the contact information.
I have her,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so they basically manage that information.
Okay.
But I would probably, if you get something together that you think looks good, you know, run it past Dave, the admin,
Okay.
right? Dave Gillum. And then just say, hey, we're thinking about doing this thing. Then get some guidance on him, but if you want to put it on the website or throw it on Facebook, that's fine too.
Okay.
But like I said, I would just run it past Dave, just to get his thoughts on it.
And then regardless if it's a website or
Yeah, I would-
Facebook?
Yeah, I would just let him know.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because it's a little bit gray, but I think if it's educational type stuff, it shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
Okay. All right, continuing business. Plant control and invasive species. I don't think there's anything there. I think the big thing is going to be getting the final report from Paul. I thought Paul Hauser was going to be here this week for some reason. But maybe I misunderstood that. Also, Paul Hauser from Progressive AE will be attending your October meeting. Okay, so October, we'll get the final details on the plant control and invasive species.
What is the date of that again? October what?
19th.
Yeah. So outside of that, like I said, the only complaints we had were around the lily pads, which are not invasive, and the ones around the dock, so we could bring that up to Paul as comments. The harvester discussion, again, we'll get a final report together on that. Lake water management board. Let me just make sure I got the dates right. But like I said, when I tallied up what I had already had, it was over 144 hours, which is way more than what we had previously.
In that case, I think the juice was worth the squeeze.
Oh, yeah. So this only went through August 19th, right? So through August 19th, we had 144 hours, which is like astronomically high. So last year, the harvester was broken, right? So we got nothing. The year before that, we were like, oh, we're doing great. The whole year through the end of September 23rd, it ran, was 132 hours. So through mid-August, we had 144. So there's probably, I asked them and the year before, we ran it through mid-October. So we could run the thing through
How do they
October.
like that? Does he just do that manually?
Yeah, so what I had them do is provide, so when they get the harvesting map, they circle the areas that they did it on, right? And then they have a report that says, you know, how many hours they were out there for, how much maintenance they had to do. They say how many loads that they put out, and it's just a PDF that they post. It's all handwritten, right, like this. So I just go through that all and put it in a spreadsheet so I can plot it. But he says where they drop, some of the stuff I don't use, but where they drop it, how much fuel they put in it, and all this other stuff.
Where do they drop all those weeds?
There's a couple stations, they mostly do it right here at the dock. They put it right next to the dock, and then they drag it over it all goes to Commerce over there.
Oh.
It goes to the back acre Glen. Okay, lake shore maintenance, erosion, cleanup, debris removal. I don't know if you guys have anything there. Lake enforcement issues. I guess we'll wait to hear back on, what happened with the radar recommendation. I watched the video, so I know
Right.
what it is, but I guess we'll cover that when we get to your part. Water Management Board goals and objectives, I think we just covered that, it was updated. I sent the link out to everybody, so you should see that those documents are in that folder if we can't find them.
You talking about these?
Yeah.
Yep, so in there's something that's goals, and that's kind of our assignments, and then there's something in there that's also, one of the things is goals, which is a spreadsheet that has all of the stuff in there, and then another one was the, let me see what it's called, Water Management Board. So in the main directory, there's one called Water Management Goals, and that's the stuff that everybody's kind of assigned. And then there's another one in here called Long Range Goals. It's a Word document. Yeah, this is something that Mike had started putting together that I updated, but this is basically just trying to say, there's not anything here that we don't regularly talk about, but the areas that are part of the charter, the types of things that we want to do, and then we had a list of the projects that we thought we wanted to execute over the next 2 years. So people can read this, some of this stuff, the sewer sad's complete, the canal study's complete, the removal of the aeration lines we agreed not to do, the algae reduction I think we succeeded on this year. The improving trophic state is never going to happen, so that's delusional. Expand the Hobo link, so I think we don't need to expand it, but at least it's installed. New fish survey from the DNR, we thought we were going to do that, but I don't think we did. The shoreline restoration kind of fell off. The lakes safety, expanded signage at the DNR, we did. The Boater Safety Festival, we're talking about doing it next calendar year, so we'll work on that. The QR scan points, we never actually got around to, is tied into the website, so that's kind of still sitting. We did talk about this.
With that website.
Where are we? We had some RFQs, didn't come back with many responses. We did get one response from Julie. I called her twice. She never got back to me. It's sitting there.
And that was to build that map.
Yeah. We got the money to do it. We got to work on it. It's something that we'll push.
Okay.
Blue heron nesting platforms. I don't remember what that was. Blue heron nesting platforms. We talked about this at one point in time, and I don't remember where that
How
was.
long ago? I don't even remember that.
Oh, this is a long time ago.
No, see, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was about 3 meetings back, I think, we talked about it.
Oh, big meeting.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't ever remember that.
We accomplished a lot of what's in here for the two-year plan, to be honest. A lot of this stuff, I can say we checked off, right?
Yeah.
Just time to update this thing?
I think it's probably time to status update on it and then figure out what we're gonna do next, yeah. Because this was 21, 22, I've worked on this thing, we've basically been working towards these things, but I think we've accomplished a lot of this stuff. I mean, the things that are out there,
Yeah.
it's really the website piece. That's a big piece, right? The informational stuff on the website.
Yeah.
Increasing website, the QR codes, all of that, that's really the next big thing we gotta get done.
So do we know all the content we want to put on the website? We just can't find a developer? Is that what the problem
I mean,
is?
I provided something that I thought was the content we wanted, and then we just got one person who replied, and the price was not where I thought it should have been, so we tried to get back in touch, never got back in touch.
Astronomical, or?
It was low, I think, for what we actually think we
Really?
need.
Because we wanted everything.
Yeah.
Use the water coming in.
What I
use
want to
it
do
going
is,
out.
what I want to do is get back with Paul Hausler, right? Because he said that they are capable of doing what we want to do.
Really?
But they
So-
just
so
didn't
the
have.
quote was too low for you?
It made me think that the scope wasn't properly
Yeah.
understood. But I wanted to have a conversation to find that out, and that never came to fruition. So I want to talk to Paul Hauser again, because he was at one point interested in doing it, and then he decided not to bid on it because they were too busy, but that was also thinking it needed to be built for this year, right? So if we get that conversation going again, maybe that would be another option.
Yeah, give them some winter work.
I think that's the big thing that has to get done in the before summer next year.
Yeah,
I feel like that's something that needs to get accomplished.
yeah, that would be such a good tool.
All right, clean boats, clean waters.
I thought we were taking this off.
That one, we took off 2 things off the agenda this time. Is this another one?
That was supposed to be one.
Because nobody came and used it? Was that the deal?
Right.
All right.
Therefore, that grant that I was thinking of applying for, I'm not going to apply for it because.
I used it, I took my boat out the other day, I sprayed it down, my wife was like all about spraying it down, we put it in Orchard Lake, we came back and sprayed it down before we
Oh,
put it
you
back in.
did, really? All right, well, you get a medal.
I used it.
Medal, yeah.
I used it.
Get some of that budget
Was
money
it
for
difficult
next.
to use?
When we came back, it was pretty much empty, so that was annoying, but,
Yeah, wow, cool.
no, we used
Because
it.
the only thing would be was to get that one thing that I mentioned, and you're like, well, we don't need to pay $2,000 to get a pair of
No, it was like
No,
a brush.
Yeah,
brushes.
yeah, it was pretty, yeah, pretty high-end.
Okay. All right, clean boat, clean waters. Like, the thing that's out there, though, who fills that? We fill that?
I don't know who fills that.
Somebody must.
How do we find out who fills that thing?
If it's being filled by the village, it's Andy Stone. I can email him.
Is it the
Yes,
possibility
we-
of the DNR
There's no
card
way.
check person?
No
I
way.
mean, I-
That's
you know,
DPW or nobody.
And what do they fill it with?
Whatever the chemical says that's on there, it's got a chemical name on there.
It does?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Anyway,
just some kind of concentrate and put the hose in it.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about that thing. I did spray it all over my boat, though.
Did you remove your bilge and drain everything too?
No.
Oh, well, thanks. So much for that message.
Yeah, we did part of it.
He got it at plane and pulled the
That's what I was
plug.
afraid of, yeah. You're not doing it, nobody's doing it.
Pull the plug, drain the bilge. And I took on some big waves over on Orchard Lake when we were surfing. I brought half that lake home with me.
Right.
It's a nice break.
It'll make our water clarity better. The water-
That's some high-end water.
That's too funny. All right, future business items. Anybody have any?
Yeah,
business items?
I think we need to send a request to the village about cutting the weeds down along Benstein.
Yes, thank you.
It's awful
What is
along
with
the
that?
boardwalk. I
Why?
mean, it's just there,
looks
so
horrible.
they're
Hold on,
beyond
hold
the
on.
height of the rail.
Hold on. We have information.
Whether it's the village that does it, or if they
I was
contact
thinking of taking
Oakland
it to
County.
chainsaw and going cutting all that stuff down.
Or do we contact Oakland County?
So
You know,
I contacted Dave. Dave said Ben Steen is a county road under road commission jurisdiction. The area between the boardwalk and the roadway is right-of-way that is maintained by the road commission, not the village. Andy has called the road commission about the brush along the roadside before, and he will call again. This was last month, and they did. Andy sent a thing that a tree had fell down, and they came back and took it, or whatever. So we can get with Andy. I can email them again, but it's not our jurisdiction. But I will.
Why is it being
Let me-
let go for so long? What?
But as the water board,
They don't
would it
care.
make sense for us to
Can't I just
also
go take a
send a
pickaxe and
request
chop
to
all that
the
stuff
Oakland
down?
County?
What's that?
I say as the water board, would it also make a sense for us as a board to send Oakland County a request? You know, over and above David, you know,
Yeah.
that there are other concerned people,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, flood them a little,
But,
one more email.
I haven't walked the boardwalk recently. Is it just-
Oh, it's between,
Cattails?
no,
No,
it's trees,
weeds
everything.
and
It's,
tree
some of
weeds
it's
growing
higher
up.
than the rail.
Oh, way higher.
Yeah,
Coming through the floor?
no, no,
On
Between the guardrail
on the west
and the
side of
boardwalk.
it,
Yeah.
on the side towards Benzine Road.
yeah.
It's a mess.
And some of it's this side of the rail also.
Is it,
Oh,
is it
yeah.
stuff that could be cut just by a hedger?
Some of it's thicker than that. It's like those weed trees that are growing, those,
Yeah.
I mean, more than a hedger.
Yeah, it needs some major work.
So I know I have, in my weed whacker, I have one of those attachments for like a header.
Yeah.
Walk along there.
Now, the problem is, for you to do it's not safe. Okay, with the way traffic is on Benstein Road, you know, a road crew or whoever
I'll
comes
take my
in.
chances.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've, 45 years
Well,
I've watched
you're talking
people.
about.
So I'll get the contact
boardwalk,
info
right?
from.
Yeah, alongside this, on the west side of the boardwalk.
The roadside.
Oh,
The
okay.
roadside.
I
Drive
thought you were
by
coming, I thought you were saying.
No, from
into
the boardwalk rail.
it. Take it right by
towards-
and look at it. It's
So-
just a mess.
I emailed Andy, I said, can you email him or get us the email? If I get the email, I'll send it to you guys, we
Okay.
can bombard them. Okay, what else we got?
Did we ever close this, I mean, we got the sewer sad and all that going. Do we know how far they got? Have we got folks hooked up now, or are they,
I hooked up,
okay,
it's awesome, changed my whole house.
far out?
What's
I'll
that?
show you pictures of what my house looks like and why that was such a big deal for me.
Yeah.
I was able to pave my driveway, redo all the landscaping, as soon as that SAD came through,
Yeah,
just opened the floodgates, I put a bunch of money into it, it was great.
excellent, excellent.
To hook into the sewer.
But I was just, I didn't know if it might be time to, I know we just got through it, but if we got back with the village and said, okay, look, because we had X amount of places that
Yeah.
are still on septic, and there's still all tons of development.
Hmm.
So I don't know
Well, I
how
think
tough
that's-
it would be to
yeah.
keep a rolling SAD going to
Yeah.
where, hey, so
Just
it
get a
takes
list.
us 18 months to get enough signatures to do it again. It's gonna save somebody some heartburn from
Yeah, we
having
could
to
ask,
have
because
30
they
grand in
used
their
to keep a running list that just said, okay, just leave your name and number here, and when we get one together, we'll let you know.
pocket. Okay.
But when I went in originally to do that, they're like, oh yeah, it just happened, there won't be another one for a couple years, check
Yeah.
back in a couple months. Like, they
Yeah.
didn't take my name.
Yeah.
And then we just decided to do one on our own, so.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, okay, let me circle back around
Okay.
with Dave and find out
yeah.
how
it's a
complete
page.
the other one is.
Yeah.
A page, yeah, all right.
And then, and try and see if there's a running list somewhere
Yeah.
that people can just sign up for.
Yeah, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it's something that we can do as a, okay.
Yep, that works. That thing, do you know what that is, the SAD, the Special Assessment District? We did, I was asking you because you weren't here.
yeah.
So we did a thing for, so to connect, if you're on septic, you can connect to the city sewer,
Yeah.
if you're on lakefront. And then, but to connect to the city sewer, it's like $18,000 or something.
Oh, yeah.
So to not like have to come out of pocket $18,000, you can do
In one.
something
years.
called the Special Assessment District, where you get a bunch of homeowners to sign up, and then the village gets a bond, and they basically finance that on your taxes over 10
Right.
years. So instead of spending, you're paying $1,800 a year in your taxes instead of $18,000 out of pocket.
Yeah.
And you get like 30, we got like almost 40 people to sign
Yeah.
up for it.
Right.
And that's 40 less people on septic systems on lakefront houses, that
Right.
it's better for the lake, right?
Right, a lot better for the lake.
So we got a bunch, we rallied a bunch of people, had a bunch of meetings, was posting like crazy on Facebook, like just getting a bunch of people to sign up for it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think we got over 40 people at the end of the
Yeah.
day to sign up for it, which is
I
good.
think it was 41.
Yeah.
So when people sign up for that, do they have to be lakefront or anybody?
It's, you have to be in a spot where there is the option to connect to city
Right.
sewer. So
Yeah,
you don't have to be
it's-
lakefront, but on the
Yeah.
streets that are on the lake,
Right.
you could be on either side of the street
Mm-hmm.
and connect to the sewer, but the sewer's not everywhere.
Right.
Or if you
Well,
live
you
on
can be out on,
Benstein, the
yeah,
infrastructure.
Benstein and, yeah,
Right.
Glengarry.
So there's a
South
map that
Carolina.
shows like
Right.
where the lots, the village has a map that's like, what are the lots that are
Yeah.
able to connect that are still not?
Right.
To give you an idea on like, this many people could connect, this is how many are left.
Yeah, you get that green crap holder,
Mhm.
shoots it to the street.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep, big grinder pump.
Yep.
And the thing with the grinder pump, if you do the hookup, it would make sense, it's almost, I think, mandatory, that you have an electrical box put in so you can hook your generator to it if you lose power. Because if,
Yeah, you can't.
you have a problem if nothing's grinded and going.
Yeah, the
Where
one
it
that we-
used to be,
It's not
you
gravity
could
fed.
throw a bucket of water down and it would take it to your
Yeah,
field.
yeah, septic, right.
Yeah, the one I got didn't have a generator connection. I probably made a mistake on that, but I
Well,
can
if you do a,
backfeed it anyway.
if you do a house generator, it'd be the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
but
have to
you
have
gotta
the whole
have
house
the- You
generator.
have to have the hookup to run the pump,
Yeah, you have to have the whole
the
house
grinder
generator.
pump.
Right, right.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah, if you have a whole house generator, that's different, yeah, it would
Yeah.
run it, but if you're like, you have a generator and you want, and you're not backfeeding your panel and you're running your fridge, you're running
Right.
whatever, and you want to
Oh,
be able
yeah.
to plug for the pump,
Right.
you need the plug for the pump.
Right.
But it's a 30 amp circuit or something too, so.
Yeah, see, I
So you'd
had,
have to do some kind of hardwiring to the,
Yeah,
I have
it's
to
a,
put a new
it's a
field
special
in.
panel.
well, it'll be 3 years in October.
6 weeks.
And with Oakland County, I had to put in an extra 500-gallon tank, which has a sump pump in it. So it drains from my tank to the 500, and then the sump pumps into the field.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So I don't have a problem where, I hope I won't have a problem. But now the field will get the maximum because the sump pump is pumping it.
Yeah.
Where it won't hit to a spot and quit.
Yeah, you use the whole
Right.
field.
Yeah.
Because they changed the depth. It used to be almost 4 foot. Now the field is
Can be-
28 inches, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of difference.
Okay, liaison reports, have at it with the council. Let's get it,
Okay,
Bob.
I got a ton of things. Let's start out, we'll do the one on the radar gun, okay? We do own a radar gun. And Chief Ellsworth had made mention, we discussed it, because I brought it up, it was on the agenda. He's going to talk to Officer Grunwald about, bringing it out of retirement and putting it to use. But the biggest thing, and he has a definite point, when you're standing or you're riding in a boat and somebody goes by you, it's like, oh my God, they're speeding. When really they're not. Speed limit on the lake is 55 miles an hour.
right.
Okay? And the perception is that when that boat goes by, whether you're anchored or just cruising along at a low speed, and you think, my God, is he flying? And if it's the time of day that you don't have to worry about a wake other than courtesy for another boater, he's really not. But they're gonna pull it out, they're gonna look into it and see, what needs to be done and possibly utilize it to check boat speeds. But at that point, we do have one, but again, it's been in limbo. Only because when they did have it out and used it, they didn't have violations for the speed limit.
Yeah.
So that is where it's at this point.
Okay.
And I think you watched the video, am I right, Mr. Chairperson?
Yep.
Okay, that took care of that. Okay, another thing, we did hire the new officer. One of the officers had left, and the other officer had worked, I believe, in Walled Lake, and I can't remember his name. I met him twice, and I apologize for that. But he's new on. A village is applying for a tree grant program, okay? We're looking at a arborist company to come in and review all the trees on village property, which is the parks, the road right-of-ways, and all of this, and not because it's me, but I have a tree that's on a road right-of-way in front of my house that has like 6 or 8 dead big branches. And the rest of the tree looks good. But if this stuff isn't addressed, and taken out, and I got neighbors with trees that have the same thing on the road right-of-ways. And we're looking at a grant that, I don't know what the actual dollar value is, but David is going to apply with the company that's from the western part of the state somewhere, to come in and possibly fund part of it, and then stay on top of it from here.
To trim the trees?
I'm sorry.
To trim all the dead limbs you're talking about?
Well, yeah, they're going to look whether they need trimming or tree removal.
Oh, wow.
It's a
The
big,
grant would pay for that
Well-
for,
well, they won't pay for everything,
right.
but the grant will help the program, And it's for years, okay, this even goes back before I got on council, I addressed that because I had 3 huge trees on the road right away in front of my house. Well, that 2 of them are gone because they were dead and never taken care of. And these trees are old. You know, I mean, it isn't, they're newborn. They've been here, and you hate to see them go. But without a maintenance program, with the bugs and the diseases and whatever, it's a losing battle. So hopefully addressing this will improve the quality of trees throughout the village. That's that one. Oh, another thing, speaking of officers, the shooting that happened in Walled Lake, one of our female officers was there and assisted the young lady that was shot to get out of the area for problems. I don't know which female officer, Chief Ellsworth didn't state which one, but she was a assistant in that shooting. Oops, what else we got here? Okay, it's a kind of a rebirth of the beautification committee. It's actually a committee board, and I think it's Julie Miller, who was ill for a while and gotten off. She's back, feeling well, and they're bringing that board back. You know, and they, over and above Parks and Recs, they are the ones that, you know, address the flowers and things around the signs, and so that's going to be coming back on. She is to be the chairperson, and there was 2 other ladies in the audience that volunteered to assist, and they're probably going to look for other people also. You know, and this is maintaining around any village signs where they do plantings and different things, so that board's coming back. What else? Okay, the Oakland, coming up in the November election, there's a major Oakland County transit program where they want to go ahead and have like a smart bus, okay? I'm using that as an example. The problem is it'll cost the average homeowner 95 cents per $1,000 of value, okay? The village will end up paying about $200,000 a year, okay, for a 10-year program. Now, here's the real classic. The pickup point at this time for the village is at Haggerty and Commerce Roads. So if you want to get transportation somewhere, you got to get there.
To Haggerty?
Yeah, okay.
Haggerty doesn't even intersect
Well,
Commerce.
that's what they
Or
said.
Oakley.
Oh, I'm sorry, Union Lake and Commerce, excuse me, not Haggerty, Union Lake and Commerce. Yeah,
Right by the
right,
corner.
right,
Oh.
all right. That's where you would have to get to get picked up to go somewhere.
And where does it take you to?
Well, depending on where you want to go.
But that's not even the village anymore, is it?
No.
No.
No,
Union Lake and Commerce are not
no,
even in the village.
but that's where the pickup point would be for the village at this time.
That's the closest they come.
Yep.
It's basically
Okay,
where Kickstand is.
right now, all right, and it's really not a
Where
great,
does the bus go?
to heaven, I guess, I couldn't tell you.
You don't know, where's the bus service? Where's
Well,
the, you don't know
it's
the
like, it's a
destination?
transit, I believe it'll take you to places.
Like,
Okay.
what
I get that.
places?
It's a mass transit for Oakland County,
Okay.
all right? So all the details haven't been finalized, let's put it that way. But here's something that David pointed out. We get a transportation grant of about $4,200 approximately a year. We transfer that to Commerce, okay? Commerce has what they call the Transit People's Express in Commerce, and it's in place now. And they'll pick you up and take you someplace, okay? In other words, if you're a senior and you gotta go to Kroger in Milford, which is still Oakland County, okay? Or if you gotta go to Novi, you know, they'll pick you up and take. We transfer that money right to them to keep that system going that Commerce has the rule.
They service us.
Right, all right. So, and the transit bill that's going to be on the vote for November, the village is going to end up in a 10-year period paying about $2 million, okay, with everything they'll collect from taxes. And if values go up, you're going to pay more. And the benefit factor just doesn't look good at this point for this community. David Gillum has had meetings and phone conversation meetings with other municipalities who aren't really super keen on it at this point, okay? And somebody watching this is liable to say, you know, I'm blowing smoke, but it's, what is the benefit to the village? At this point, there isn't.
So where do we actually get the information, the relevant information?
Pardon?
Where do we get the relevant information?
I would think you'd have to look it up for,
Yep.
it's a mass transit bill for voting coming up in November.
Okay.
It's on the ballot right now.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So let's move on from that.
Okay, what else do we have? And
Anywhere in
that
the
is
black
it.
figure for $2.
Oh, I did have one
All the
other
way down the
thing.
freeway, all the way up. Yeah, senior person with disability will be charged $625 per mile when leaving the boundaries. Boundary is the area of 1059 to 12 Mile to Milford Road to West Drake. That's not so bad. The People's Express of Michigan.
Is that the People Express?
Yeah, it's just showing the map. You can go anywhere
Right.
for $2 each way, anywhere in the black area. It's pretty good.
What are the borders
Oh,
on it?
Yeah, that's the one that's in existence now.
M59 on the north, 12 Mile Road, east of Milford Road, and west of Drake Road.
Yeah, that's the
That's pretty
system
good.
that's in right now, which is People's Express.
Yeah,
That's the current thing we've got now?
Right,
The People's
with Commerce Township.
It's
And
$2
what's
each
the-
way for seniors.
What's this new thing gonna do above and beyond that?
Oh, that's,
That's what I'm saying. Does the new thing take me to Ann Arbor on game days? Does it take me to Detroit?
it doesn't.
Can I bring my barbecue?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, what does it do?
And the village residents will
So you have to
pay,
pay extra for the cooler?
the village will pay about $2 million over a 10-year period, possibly more.
Yeah.
And again, because I'm running again in November, I get a premature ballot to make sure my name is correct and everything else. And the whole ballot shows that proposal also, okay?
Yep.
And it's just,
Where do you
you know,
Where do you get picked up?
for
Call
our area, it's
They'll get
just
you.
not a
Oh, you just call. Oh.
All right. So, any other village council stuff?
Yes, one other thing, we are approved, I might have mentioned last month, I don't know if I did for sure, I don't think so, because it was in my packet. We're approved for the Clara Miller Park project, okay?
The
We got a
same one that
grant.
had the master plan from like 8
Well,
years
the
ago?
master plan, give or take, but we got a $100,000 grant, and we have to match that 100,000, okay? And the program will run through 2024.
And are they gonna? But the master plan was like it was redoing the whole playground and redoing
Listen,
rinks and all this stuff.
barrier-free. You mean that?
That thing, yeah.
Yeah, I have it all.
Yeah, that
And
caused a
there's
lot
been a
of
lot
heartache.
of changes, okay?
Okay.
But I kept it for reference,
Yeah.
all right? But
We
this,
get a new playground.
right, this will end of July 31st of '24. So, you know, we're going to submit new, well, we've started already with, I don't know if anybody went to the corn roast or not, but you've seen the old restroom
Yeah.
building that they added on to. Part of that was put together with grant fund money, okay? And there's more to come down the road.
Cool.
And I think, last but not least, I brought my total police report, okay, that I get. And this is for August of 2022. There was 15 voter assisted calls, okay, for August. Reckless operation citation, there was one. Bear with me because you gotta go through it all.
think he gave us like the cliff notes.
Yeah, did we
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
went over it.
Last
Right.
month, he gave us like the,
Right.
the,
Well, this
related
is-
cliff notes. This is one more month.
Yeah, this is for, okay, now, watercraft complaints or accidents, in 2021, there was 51. To date, right now, there's been 16, which is a 68% decrease, okay? And again, I have to go through them.
Yeah, sure.
Because you have to find the watercraft items. So, bear with me. Okay, watercraft complaints and accidents, okay? Last year it was 148, there's been 130 this year, which is at almost an 11% drop, okay? And I think that covered it all.
16 people ran out of
Yeah.
gas.
Yeah, well, see, we get that every month, so, and just, it was brought up last month about, well, here's the report we got last month.
Yeah.
So, this gives us a little insight, and then the grant program. And that is it for me, folks.
Great, thank you.
Oh, you're
Over
welcome.
to you, mister.
There was a
Planning? Planning with the plan?
Yeah, there was planning, but it was pretty much on the same issue. Sally Eminger, our consultant, is working with the Blanketships to help them create the awning area for their exterior part for the Glengarry Inn. They're moving along, everybody's agreeing what needs to be done, so.
When is that? Where is it going?
Well, it's ongoing. I mean, they've got the awning up there, but to get it in compliance, there's some other issues they're concerned about. There's a requirement for any improvement now. You have to have trees along the thing every, like 15 feet. Problem is that if you do that in that area, it can obstruct the traffic, the view of people pulling out of the driveway. So they
Don't want
can work
drunks to
with
be-
that.
Yeah, don't want drunks to be able to not see past the trees.
You've got it, if they've had a few, they need to be able to see where they're going. And we want to see them coming out. But that's pretty much all we talked about, so.
Cool. So much in common with the planning board and the water board.
I know,
It's really important we have a liaison between the board.
Don't you think?
I think it's super critical to the success of our board.
Yeah.
Okay, comments from the board members. It sounds like, like I said, I'm gonna try and get some reports together. Harvester, I emailed Eric, we got the lake level report coming, got some recycling stuff coming, we'll look at canceling a couple meetings. Kyle's gonna look at some winter safety stuff. I think we're all right here.
Sad thing.
All right,
Motion to adjourn?
Second that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.